afternoon. Steve here. And, it's good to be with you. Guess I could have done all that sort of maneuvering prior to hitting the start button. Okay. Well, I feel like this is a good day to set up a healing field in case there's anybody out there that has some energies moving that they want help grounding, like myself. So, I suggest that we state these things out loud. I choose to connect to the healing field. I connect to my deep self. I connect with my higher self. I connect with my highest self. Anywhere, with anyone or anything that I have left my energy with, I take back now. If we gave up any of our power to another for whatever reason, we take that power back now. We support other people in finding their own power and taking that power back. And again, I ground myself to the healing center of the earth. I open myself to the healing power of the One. And I choose to release anything no longer useful to me now. And I choose to work with the Hathors. Now, you don't need to say these next things out loud unless you want to. I ask that we be placed in a field of protection while we do this work. And I ask that all the beings and guides and helpers contained in the observational healing field, please be present with this field. And ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good, release and integrate at this time. And I invite all souls affected by this event to return to the event, to release and integrate the energy of the event for themselves. And ask that they be placed in a field of protection while they do their work. Upon arrival at the event, I ask the higher self to assist us to release and integrate all energies of the event, gently and easily, fully and completely, on all levels and through all space and time. Okay. Healing field is set up. If you wish, you can just hit the pause button and go about working with these energies. If you want to stay with me as I work with the energies, you're welcome to do that. I don't know how long we'll be working with these energetics, and you can kind of come and go as you please. There may be many of you out there today feeling a wealth of feeling, and I don't know specifically. I know there's a holiday today celebrated by a certain portion of the world, but I don't know what else there is that's going on, but I do know what's being triggered from the field as my body's response to what's being triggered from the field. So to help you understand my position in this world healing field, I was asked to set it up. This particular observational world healing field, I was asked to set it up in the end of January of 2020. And I was told there's going to be a lot of energies of disturbance arising around the planet, and that it would be useful to have a field set up and held open and have assistance in terms of grounding the energies of disturbance. Because these energies of disturbance, when they're human in origin, need to be grounded by humans. They can be, my understanding is they can be held, the energies can be held by trees, but when the energies need to be grounded, they need to be grounded by humans. And according to the Mayan word Winklil, which stands for human being, is defined, the human being is defined as a divine vibratory root. So we are the root system of the divine energies. When we're open to the divine energies, then we tend to ground divine energies. When we're just aware of the earthly energies, when the earthly energies, human energies, are disturbed, we feel disturbed. And you notice my shoulders kind of pull in. That openness, that more flexibility. When I talk about the energies of the world, my body naturally pulls in a bit and gets protective. One idea about this is that when we talk about the energies of the world, I'm typically talking about the disturbance, the disturbed energies. So the disturbed energies are the fear that's broadcast in some ways. If a person's really resonating in fear, they are broadcasting that fear. If they're really resonating with anger, they're broadcasting that anger. And if they're really resonating with grief, they're broadcasting that grief. So we can feel it when we're around them. Whether or not we're conscious that that's what we're feeling is what someone else is broadcasting. But it may be that that's what we're feeling, is the broadcast of another. And when we're feeling the planetary broadcast, and today it's particularly noticeable that the broadcast, just from my awareness, maybe not from yours, which is fine. You can be feeling joy and love and peace and compassion. And that's what you're aware of. But what I'm aware of and what I want to work with is that fear, that grief, and that anger. And when I say I want to work with it, I choose to help release and ground that energy so that is not what I'm broadcasting. So the reason that we're, in some ways, divine vibratory roots is that we have the ability to root or release these energies that we may define as, and there's many more, but we may define, or we may use the words fear or grief or anger, which have a particular vibrational frequency. And people say, but do you really want to be grounding that into the earth? Because then the earth is just full of fear and grief and anger. And I'd say, well, no. It won't be filled with fear and grief and anger because it's only fear, grief, and anger when it's held. When fear is released, it's energy. Now, when you're releasing the energy of fear, it may be useful to just ground the energy of fear right into the earth, because by the time it goes through you and it enters the earth is already just shifting it out of that vibration into a higher vibration. And that higher vibration of fear can be felt as excitement. So when you're feeling fear, you may be able to, if you don't resist it, feel it as excitement. But whatever, when you ground all that fear, all the fear that you feel, you just ground it into the earth. In order to ground it into the earth, you have to have the bottoms of your feet chakras open, because that's how you can ground them. So when you're grounding fear, another thing that you might start to feel, because anger, one of the places that anger is stored is in the ankles and the feet, and the wrists and the hands. But when it's stored in the ankles and the feet, they tend to hold that irritation energy, and when I describe it, you might be able to feel it. You might feel it in the coccyx, or the tailbone, at the bottom of the sacrum in the pelvis. That coccyx can hold what we would refer to as anger, irritation. Same with the pubic bone. Same with the fifth lumbar and the lower back, and the umbilical area, the belly button, in the mid-abdomen, and then the bottom to the top of the sternum. So you can feel that, and the lower part of the neck, you can feel that. Top of the head, you can feel that. And then as you feel that, you can just choose to ground that energy into the earth. And again, a person might ask, well, won't that make the earth angry? No. Just no, it doesn't. It's not anger, it's just energy. It's anger when something disturbing has been done to you as an individual or us as a collective. And we don't know what to do with that energy. And it's overwhelming, so we hold on to it. That's when it's anger. When it's released and we ground it into the earth, at first we may feel the irritation of it, but the irritation is holding it. Like if you put your hand out of a car window, so say you're driving or you're the passenger, so say you're both, you put your hand outside of the car window when you're going maybe 70 miles an hour, and you feel that resistance in your hands to that air moving by the car, or the car moving by the air, whichever it is, you feel that. That's the energy in the body that we feel when we're resisting the flow of that energy, because if we let that energy flow, the memory of the overwhelming event may rise into our consciousness. And so in order to avoid that event, we resist the movement of the energy. If we stop resisting the movement of that energy, we stop resisting, then that energy flows. Or if we invite that energy to flow. So if we say, I ground myself to the healing center of the earth, we're inviting that energy to flow. So when it's fear, has that feeling. When it's anger, it has that feeling. And when it's grief, it has that feeling. But when we're letting it move, whether it be fear, anger, or grief, when we're letting it move, we start to feel this pulsation. Now my body just naturally is moving like this. I'm not thinking like, oh, now I need to move back and forth. No, we're moving this energy. This is how it feels to move this energy. So we're feeling this pulsing. And we're feeling that pulsing down into the earth. And then all of a sudden we notice, well, it doesn't feel like anger. It doesn't feel like grief. It doesn't feel like fear. What does it feel like? It feels like energy. So now we're just pulsing energy. And it gets better. But right now we're just pulsing energy. It's not even identifiable. But then that energy comes back from the earth, just clear energy. And we start to feel it just below our belly button, in the area of our abdomen, about 2 inches below our belly button, the area of our abdomen referred to as the Dan Tian in martial arts or in acupuncture. It's where the body battery is located. And so as that energy starts pumping into the earth, it's like a pump to the earth as well. Once you prime that pump and you get that energy flowing, it typically flows out the right leg, it typically flows in the left leg, and you start to feel your bucket or your battery fill up with energy. That's the Dan Tian. And that's happening right now. And as that Dan Tian fills up, it begins to go to the various chakras. And there's kind of 7 main chakras that are typically talked about. There's other chakras as well, but the main chakras that are talked about are related to the endocrine glands. So there's the testicle and the ovaries. It's one endocrine gland. There's the adrenal glands. There's the pancreas gland. It does various things, but it's an endocrine gland. There's the thymus gland. There's the thyroid gland. There's the pituitary gland. And then there's the pineal gland, also referred to as the third eye. All of these endocrine glands, all of these chakras related to these endocrine glands begin to get charged. And as they begin to get charged, things just begin to come out. So one of the things that's coming out is a release of energy that was stuck in the shoulders. That's just one of the locations. It's just the one I became aware of. As this energy started to build up, I began being aware of the shoulders. And then I began being aware of the throat. Typically, the shoulders relate to fight or flight. The throat relates to grief and loss. The throat can also relate to anger. So can the wrists and the hands. So as those energy begin to move and flow, so you start to feel this flow going on in the body, then a lot of these energies just come to the surface and start to move through the system. And some of them, like fear, can be very prickly. So when one's feeling a lot of fear, one can feel a lot of prickly and kind of skin irritation. But you keep grounding it, that doesn't last. You just feel it as it comes up and you let it go. What we're going to do momentarily, because part of the prickliness has to do with when we're moving energy, our system is a natural grounder for the environment. So in a healing field, we've gone back to an event in consciousness and in time and space somewhere that is unresolved, that is unresolved for us on a soul level. That's why we connect to this video. That's why when I ask the higher self to take us through the portal of time to the event that would be of the highest good to release and integrate at this time, that's why we may feel a part of ourself kind of leave and go back, go through the portal of time and go back to this event. When I invite all souls affected by the event, you may actually feel those souls leave their bodies all over the planet and go back to the event. They don't disconnect from their bodies, they leave their bodies and they go back to the event to finish this event off, to release the energy so this can be a completed, resolved, integrated event. That's what we're doing right now. We're completing an event. By releasing and integrating the energies of it, we then have the event be complete for us. And when we do this as a group, especially a large group of souls working with this event together, this event can go very quickly. The next thing I feel is the elbows, and the elbows and the knees, and the ovaries, and the testicles, and the lungs, and the thyroid, the sides of the head, and the ears, and the eyes all relate to the release of grief. So when you start feeling the elbows or the knees, or you just feel the lower abdomen vibrating, or the lungs, you start feeling this energetic in the lungs, or the thyroid, or the ears, or the eyes. These are all grief-related energies. And my legs are starting to hop a little bit, so I was shaking the computer. But as those energies begin to vibrate and begin to move, sometimes my legs will begin bouncing a little bit because I'm grounding these energies into the earth. And then if you're hooked up to the world field, you're also assisting the world as a divine vibrational root to ground generalized disturbance in the field, to take it down, take it down, take it down. This is a service that you perform for the world to make it a better place for you and for others to live. Because fear is the trapped vibration of excitement. So when you're excited about something, you're excited about life, you go, oh, I'm feeling fearful. Only if you interpret it that way. If you feel change, you can interpret it in a fearful way. If you have a lot of fear you hold, you can go, oh, this is terrible, this is happening. Or you can go, wow, change is good. I feel change taking place. This is good. And it's all our reaction. It's all our perception. It's all how much stuff we have stored and how stirred we are by the stuff going on around us. So that's the fear. That's the grief. That's the anger. Fear, grief, and anger. Those are the big three. And then you may start to feel your calves just vibrating. And that can be any of the three. It can be the opening up of the ankles where the anger energy is really flowing, which is just power. When it's trapped, it's anger. But when it's flowing, it's just power. And fear is just excitement. And grief is just trapped joy. And when we don't trap them and we let them move, then we start feeling more flexible. And then we keep our consciousness aware of an event that's being cleared through the portal of time. Our soul is back there at the event, so we can just touch in with our soul. How's it going? Just keep checking on it. Is the event, and if you get a feeling like, oh, it's almost clear, then you just wait till you feel it clear. And once it clears, then you've clicked back in at some point. But then we say these words. We ask the interdimensional being, Thoth and Ra, the deep self, the higher self, and our soul group, to assist all the souls that have returned to the event to combine with that part of their soul that had remained at the event and bring that combined soul back into their body in present time with all of its wisdom, power, clarity, compassion, curiosity, and kindness. And we ask those souls to ground themselves in the healing center of the earth. And just, you'll feel like the linkage of all the souls that have gone back into their body with this event resolved. And we ask all those souls to open up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. And then we ask that those new energies be brought in now. And some of you would just feel those energies and you go, oh, those are really nice energies. Yes, they are. We tend to ground disturbance because it's already in the field of the earth. And once we ground it, it's no longer disturbance. It's only disturbance when it's held in the field. But once it's released from the field, it's just energy. But once we get the event cleared, then we can bring in these new, clean, super clean energies as divine, vibrational roots, human beings, wind quills. We have this inherent ability to bring in these new energies for the well-being of the planet. We bring these in. And once this was a long download of these energies, but once these energies are in, then we ask that they be activated. Sometimes the activation energy as it goes through, because it runs right through our crown chakra, right through our spine, sometimes the activation energy activates our DNA, our genetic potential, as it's going in to activate the new energies in the earth. It activates us while it's doing it. We can just enjoy and appreciate that, because once we've resolved that event, then our systems are open and flowing. And then I tend to just let the universe and beyond know that this event has been released and integrated, that all the souls have combined with that part of their soul that had made the event and brought that combined soul back in their body in present time. All the souls grounded themselves in the healing center of the earth and opened up the portal for the delivery of the new energies into the earth at this time. The new energies were brought in, they were activated, and it's all good. Okay, that's your, mine, our healing field for the world for this 25th day of December of 2024. And I appreciate the work that you're doing for the transformation of the world. And it helps me so much with the work that I'm doing as well. So thank you, and much gratitude felt for all of you who participate in these healing sessions. They're beneficial to you, but they're even more beneficial to the world through you doing it. So thank you, and have a lovely day.